Hello, my name is Robert Gebka and I'm from the Dorset Mindfulness Center. I'd like to basically reconnect with those of you who have finished our 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction course. I know that very often after a course we might feel quite high in some ways, or as if we have reached a certain plateau, and very often, because we're not meeting again anymore once a week, we can kind of in some ways come down from that feeling of high or this high sense of well-being. And this is very, very common. So I'd like to offer a few practical tips on how we can actually carry on gaining the benefits of the course, even though the course itself has finished. One thing to say perhaps is that we are creatures of habit, and even though we might have in some ways reduced the intensity of certain unhelpful habits in our life through doing the course, the habit itself can still be there. So we can very often fall trap to our unhelpful habits, and this is perfectly okay. It's the same thing when we've given up smoking, or we've given up a certain bad habit, and something triggers us and we get reminded, and we often fall back into the habit. So this is kind of one way of looking at it, that in some ways those mental habits, those habits of behavior, they don't always completely disappear. And in some ways, very often they can re-emerge, they can resurface. And this is perfectly normal. This is how the mind works. So how can we begin to gain the benefits of mindfulness? How can we continue applying ourselves in a way that will actually be helpful in our life, and in a way that will help us to maintain this sense of well-being? It's a very good question, and I know a lot of people who finish the course, they feel like they've just only begun to touch on the surface of what mindfulness really is. So one thing that we can do, a very practical tip, is to actually keep the topic of mindfulness alive by sharing it with others. Mindfulness is a wonderful conversation starter. It's becoming very much spoken about in the media. It's a wonderful and very interesting thing to actually discuss with friends and family, but not in a way of a kind of forcing ideas upon other people, but really just see if there's an opportunity, see if there's an interest with somebody, and see if you can just chat about it, to keep it alive for yourself, but also to share some of these ideas with other people who you think might benefit. So this is the one thing that you can do. Just share it with others, talk about it, and this will help you to keep it alive in your own mind. The other thing that you can do is to do a little practice. We always say a little practice is better than none. And this is completely true. So whether this is formal practice, such as a 5-minute breathing space, or a 10-minute, or 20-minute, or 45-minute, but it's a good idea to keep it alive by having some kind of a regularity with the practice. But again, this can be even in a way by doing informal practice. So, sitting on the bus, driving the car, we can always take a deep breath. Waiting in the queue in the bank, we can always take a deep breath. Talking to somebody, we can always take a deep breath. Working at a computer, we can always take a deep breath. So we can do a lot of the mindfulness exercise in a very natural, very relaxed, informal way. So some practice is better than none. The other thing that we can do to help ourselves stay in the flow of mindfulness, so that we don't forget about it, so that the old bad habits don't take us over, is to attend mindfulness groups. This is a wonderful thing to support ourselves with, and we also get to reconnect with other people. You might already have felt that when we're in a group, there's a certain energy, there's a certain quality, a certain feeling generated when we practice together. So doing some kind of practice together is very, very powerful, because it reminds you that you're not the only one doing this particular journey, but also you get to share your ideas with other people, and you get to spend time in this kind of mutual supportive space where everybody's doing pretty much the same thing, which is cultivating the capacity to be more in the present moment. And the last tip I'd like to offer you is to basically think of the benefits of mindfulness. Think of how it is going to help you. You probably might have noticed that if we start our day with even just a minute or a few deep breaths, the quality of our day will be much different than if we just rush into the day. So reminding ourselves that even just a little bit of practice has immense value, has a lot of benefits for enhancing the quality of our life, can really inspire us to continue practicing. So these are just some of the tips that you can explore for yourself. And just remember that it is absolutely normal to have days and weeks where your practice will lapse, where you will forget, you will be taken over by your old habits. But each moment is an opportunity to re-establish the practice. So there's no need to feel guilty, there's no need to judge yourself or thinking of it as a success or a failure kind of thing, but rather seeing that each moment is an opportunity to re-engage the practice, because each moment is afresh, each moment is new. So this is how we look at it in terms of a mindfulness-based approach. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to post this on the Dorset Mindfulness Center website, and please feel free to ask any questions or any issues that you have about your practice. Feel free to comment, feel free to contribute, and I will do my best to answer these questions that you have posted in the next video. My aim is to have at least one video every 2 weeks for you. So I'm very curious to see what the response will be, and I really look forward to supporting you to be able to support yourself. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.